أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت عليم الحكيم. So in our lesson yesterday we were talking about the human resource planning, and we defined what human resource planning is, and we said that when you're talking about human resource planning, it is all about estimating the number of workers that we shall need in our organization. Then number two, we also need to identify where we are going to get our employees. So basically it's a matter of employee demand and employee supply. And we said that as a good human resource manager, you should be in a position to balance these two, to balance the human resource demand and the human resource supply. So if you can be able to balance these two things, then as an organization, you can always be guaranteed that at any given time, you have enough employees with the right set of skills who will basically help your organization achieve its objective. Now, in our lesson today, we shall start by talking about the human resource planning process. Remember yesterday in our definition, in all the definition, when we were defining the human resource planning, we were basically talking of it as a process. So today we shall find out what is involved in what. Can you switch off your video, please? What is involved in what? What is involved in Abdullah Mohammed? Switch off your video, please. We'll basically ask ourselves what the human resource planning. Why do you like putting on your videos? You want people to look at your face. Now, although every organization should develop a tailor-made HR plan process to meet its own specific needs, the following HR planning process can be adopted by any organization with necessary modifications. So they're telling us each and every organization should have its own HR plan. So these HR plans are not the same. So here we are just being given an example. And the organizations, they can modify these processes to do what? To suit their needs and their requirements in an organization. So it is not that organizations need to follow these 6 steps or 6 process. No, they can modify and adjust it, but it will always revolve around these 6 things. So number one, it is considering organizational objectives and strategies. Number two, assessment of the external environment. Number three, preparation of an in-house skill and competency inventory. Number four, HR forecasting, that is the need assessment. Then HR forecasting, this is the estimation of availability. Then lastly, developing the human resource plan and program. So this is the process that is involved in human resource planning. So let us go deep. Let us discuss one after the other. So number one is considering the organizational objectives and strategies. What is the meaning of this? So when we want to do a human resource planning, we need to start by understanding what the company wants to achieve in the future. So this is very important. We need to ask ourselves this question before we even start planning. What is our future plan? What are our future goals and strategies? So once our future goal and strategies are very clear, we can go to the next step. But we cannot go to the next step if we don't know what we need tomorrow or what we should achieve next year. So we need to know what we want. Look at this example. So in this example, they're telling us, for example, if a company plans to launch a new product line next year, it may need more marketing and production staff. HR needs to plan for hiring and training people for this role. So, for example, we have a company, Company A. Company A maybe is producing what? It's producing mobile phones. But next year, it is planning to expand to produce mobile phones. So the HR management should be planning for the expansion, should be planning for the extra product line. Because we don't want to reach a situation that next year comes, we have the product line, but we don't have enough what? We don't have enough human resources. So number one, we need to know what we should achieve. For example, if it is Telesom, Mathalan, maybe Telesom next year it wants to expand, to open a new branch. So the HR needs to start planning for that. For example, if it is Alpha University maybe is thinking of opening a new branch. This new branch will need people. So HR planning starts with us knowing what we want to achieve. Okay? Now, number two. So once we know what we want to achieve, number two is assessment of the external environment. So what is the meaning of this? We need to analyze outside factors like labor market trends, economic condition, and industry changes that will impact hiring. There are a lot of factors that can affect us getting the right people. So, for example, remember when we were talking in strategic management, when you were talking about the external environment scanning, we said that when you're scanning the environment, we have the internal environment and you have the external environment. And when you were talking about the external environment, we said that there is this framework, the pestle analysis. So the same thing happens here. You need to analyze politically what are the factors that might lead to what? What are the factors that might affect recruitment? Then you have the economic. What are the economic factors that might affect recruitment? Then you have the social factors, you have the environmental factors, you have the technological factors. So all these factors we need to analyze because these factors are going to affect the availability of human resource. So for example, if there is a shortage of skilled IT professional in the market, the company may need to train existing employees or outsource. So for example, if we analyze the market and we find that there is a shortage of IT professional, that is, not many people are graduating from computer science. So it means there is a shortage. So the HR manager can decide to train the people inside the organization or to outsource. Outsource basically means going to another country to find people who can actually replace or fix the problem. Then number three is preparation for an in-house skill and competency inventory. What is the meaning of this? So as the HR, we need to do what? To check what skills, experience, and strengths already exist among current employees. So this is what is normally called the word analyzing the training needs assessment, or it is basically known as analyzing the what analyzing. I hate students when they enter with their videos. It distracts me. I cannot even. It affects my explanation. When you come in, just come in with your video switched off. It is affecting the word. So when we are talking about preparation of an in-house skills and competency inventory, we basically need, as the HR manager, you need to analyze and you need to evaluate the skills that you have. So you have to ask yourself, what skills do we have? Then you list all the skills. Then you ask yourself the second question, what are the skills that are missing? So the skills that are missing, what do we do? we look for a way to do what? La ilaha illallah. We look, can you switch off your video, please? Can somebody tell these people in Somali? Maybe they don't understand. Muhammad, can you switch off your video? Can please? You are sleeping, you are in your room, you come in with your video, you are showing people your bedroom, you are showing people your chest, you are just wearing funny clothes and you want us to see your clothes. So when you're talking about the preparation for an in-house skills and competence inventory, we need to know what we have and what we don't have. Then the difference, we do what? So a company might find out that it already has employees who can be promoted to supervisory roles instead of hiring new managers. So sometimes as an organization, you will realize that you have people inside your organization who are competent enough. So it basically means you don't have to do what? You don't have to employ, you don't have to hire from outside. So you need to know the people you are working with. You need to know your team. You need to know the skills that they are having so that you can use them instead of hiring. Then number 4 is HR forecasting. This is what is known as the need assessment. So what is the meaning of this? Remember yesterday you were talking about the demand. Estimate how many employees will be needed in the future and in what role. So as the HR manager, you need to estimate, you need to ask yourself, next year, how many people shall we need? And which positions will they need to do what? And which position will these people have to work in? So for example, if sales are expected to grow by 30%, HR might predict needing 5 more salespeople and 2 support staff over the next year. So because the company is growing, our sales is doing okay. So the HR manager might project that because our sales are increasing, we might need 5 more people and four more sales people and 2 support staff over the year. So already this is the demand. This is what we need. So the next step is forecasting. Okay, already we know we need how many we need. So the next step is the availability. Where are we going to get them? How are we going to recruit them? So HR focusing is all about estimation of the availability. So estimate how many workers will be available internally. That is the current staff, or externally, the job market. Remember the availability. Before we go outside, we normally look inside the organization to see if we have enough people. Can we promote maybe some people? Can we switch some people in the organization? If we don't have enough, then we go outside. So for example, if several employees are retiring soon and there is a low supply of skilled workers in the market, HR needs to plan early to avoid gaps. So when we are talking about estimation of availability, we have to know, as an HR manager, you always have to know the people who are working with you. Sometimes there are some people who are retiring. They are very old, you know. So when they leave, you have to know, for example, this year, like 5 people are going to retire. They are very old. And you should be thinking about where shall we get people to replace these 5 people who are going to retire. Or sometimes you find that as an HR manager, what is happening is that maybe there are some employees, they are going for their maternity leave. Maybe 3 or 4 every year. Of course, you normally have those cases. So as an HR manager, you should not wait until the maternity leave. You have to know in advance we are going to have a gap for like 4 or 5 months, and you have to start looking for how you will manage these gaps. Then once now you know about the availability, you go developing HR plans and programs. So based on all the above, create actual plan. So once we know how many we need and where we are going to get them, we need to come with a plan. So this plan includes recruitment. How are we going to recruit? How are we going to advertise? Then number two, training. Shall we have to train? If the answer is yes, then we have to have a training program. Then promotion. Maybe there are some workers we are going to promote them to go up. Or maybe there is succession planning. When you are talking about succession planning, we are basically talking like in any organization, you need to be planning for tomorrow. If your manager maybe dies, if your manager decides to leave, if your manager decides to go to another company, what will happen? So succession planning means, even if it normally happens in what? In a country, in politics. For example, we find that we have this president. He's the one who is ruling this country now. But when he is ruling, he is preparing somebody. Maybe there is an MP or maybe there is a minister who is being prepared to, in future, he will be the president. So even in an organization, there needs to be a plan for that. Then, for example, this can be HI may launch a campus recruitment drive. Campus recruitment drive means the HR, it goes to recruit from the universities. It goes to University A, University B, University C, and they get or designing training for new hires. There are some people when they are fresh graduates, when they come to the organization, they don't have any idea about the work. So the HR can train them. It is normally called sometimes job orientation or plan for internal promotion to fill leadership roles. So these are the what? These are the six processes for the HR planning. Now, number two, now we have finished with the process. Now, what are the requirements for effective HR planning? Because if we want our HR planning to achieve its objective, if we want our HR planning not to fail, what should happen? Number one, alignment with organizational goals. Our HR plans must support the organization mission, vision, and strategic objectives. That is, our planning should be aligned to our mission, vision, and strategic. So if our HR planning is not aligned to our mission, vision, and objectives, then it will not be what? It will not be effective. Number two, top management support. Active participation and guidance from top leadership are crucial. If the leadership does not support our plan, it will die, it will collapse, it will not be successful. So we need our top management to always support, to always guide, to always give the resources. But in many organizations, you find that sometimes the top management, they don't even support the HR plans. Then number three, HR manager competence. HR manager should fully understand the process and its importance in achieving business goals. The HR manager should be very competent enough. We should not just bring somebody who is not competent to fill the office. No. The person who is in the HR office should be somebody who is competent, somebody who is skilled, somebody who has graduated from HR. Then number three, collaboration with line managers. Strong communication and cooperation between HR and other departments. We have the Department of Finance, we have the departments of marketing, we have the Department of Production. So HR should always collaborate and communicate with this department, because these departments, they need people to work in their department. And when they need somebody, they come to the HR. So that is why you find that the HR is the most important department in the organization, because always the other departments, they will be coming to them. Then another thing is accurate data management. When we are planning, not only HR planning, but in any plan, when you're planning, you need reliable, up-to-date HR records are necessary for informed decision making. If we want to make any decision, then it basically means we should have up-to-date information. We should not use all information. Then another thing is continuous process with feedback. HR planning must be ongoing with regular feedback used for improvement. Remember yesterday, we talked about this yesterday, that planning is something that is ongoing, something that is regular. We normally get feedback every day, and this feedback helps us to refine and improve our plans. Then appropriate forecasting techniques. Choose demand and supply forecasting method based on what best suits the situation. So we normally have demand and supply forecasting methods. So we should always choose methods that suits our situation. There is this topic called what? There is this course called research operation method. I think you will do it maybe in semester 3, research operation method. So in this research operation method, you will learn about different methods for demand and supply forecasting. Then simplicity and usability. The HR planning process should be straightforward and user-friendly for all stakeholders. So the planning should be easy, it should be simple, people should really understand the process that is involved, you know. So sometimes you find that many HR plans, they are very complex. People cannot understand. And if people cannot comprehend, then it is going to be very detrimental when it comes to application. Then lastly, human resources as a core asset. Employees should be seen as a key competitive advantage and core strength of the organization. So if we want the human resource planning to be effective, we should see like the human resource as one of the important assets in an organization. Remember, like I told you, if in your degree, when you are doing management, there is what is called the scientific management school of thought. The scientific management school of thought, according to them, they used to say that the human resource, it's not important in the organization. So they considered the human beings as machines, that they come, they work, we pay them money, masalam, they leave. But in the 21st century, many organizations are doing what? Many organizations are focusing with the human resource as a competitive advantage. They have realized that if you train the HR, if you develop them, if you compensate them, if you create a good environment for the human resource, then the net effect is that your organization is going to grow, you're going to get profits, you're going to expand, and all the stakeholders are going to be happy. Now, what now are the benefits? What are the benefits of the human resource planning? So number one, the benefits of HR planning. Number one, there is efficient resource utilization. So it enhances effective use of human resources through systematic planning. So the HR planning, it enables us to effectively manage and use our HR resources. Number two, forecasting labor trends, anticipate future demand and supply of labor. So it helps us to know, like, how many shall we need and from where shall we get the demand and supply. Number three, structured approach, replaces unplanned methods with a systematic scientific process. So the HR planning is very scientific. It is not ashwaiya, like what many organizations they do. They don't have a plan. So what they do is just traditional, classical. They don't have a plan. They do their things. They're not proactive. They react. Then number four, foundation for HR activities. So the human resource planning is the foundation of recruitment, training, performance evaluation, compensation, and retention. Then lastly, short and long-term relevance. So addresses both immediate and future HR needs. So when we are planning, we are planning for today, and at the same time, we are planning for tomorrow. So these are some of the benefits of HR planning. Then another benefit is it's a proactive change management. So it prepares the organization for changes like downsizing, mergers, and acquisition. So it is proactive. This is what I said just a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago. Planning is not being reactive. So the opposite of planning is being reactive. Reactive means I wait for the problem and find a solution. But planning is proactive. Even before the problem comes, I plan about the problem and how I'm going to fix it. Improve industrial relations, enhances communication between management and unions. So there is a good communication between the management and the union that is representing the workers. Career growth planning systematically outlines career advancement for employees. So it is a tool that we can use to develop and train our employees. Succession planning ensures business continuity by preparing for key role transition. So even if there is any key change in the organization keep going because already we had a plan for that. Then employee satisfaction and development maintains a well-trained, skillful, and content workforce. Content is another, it means satisfied. Now, lastly, these are the barriers to the HR planning. While this HR, it has while this HR is very important to the organization, there are also some barriers. There are also some challenges. There are also some disadvantages. هناك تحديات مشاكل that normally faces the human resource planning. Number one, lack of importance given to HR planning. Many organizations, la mubala, they don't actually pay a great deal of attention to planning. They don't plan. For example, a small bakery focuses only on daily sales rather than planning for future staffing needs, leading to staff shortages when business grow. So we have a small bakery. They just focus on daily, what things that are happening daily. So when the bakery grow and they need more people, there is a problem. Number two, labor market glut. What is the meaning of labor market glut? So I will come back here. So this is the meaning of labor market glut. A labor market glut occurs when there are more workers available than there are jobs. This is what is happening in most of the countries, leading to an oversupply of labor. Labor glut means when the supply is more than the demand we need. So we have a lot of people, they don't have work. We don't need them. So this situation typically results in, so when there is oversupply, it leads to high unemployment. Many job seekers are unable to find work. People want to find work, they cannot get. Number two, low wages. Employers have a large pool of applicants to choose from, allowing them to offer low wages. So you find that in Africa, in most countries, they don't pay people good money. Why? Because there are a lot of work. There is oversupply. If you don't, I'm going to give you 250. If you don't want, Masalam, leave. There is another person who will come. If you don't want, leave. So there is low wages. Then number three, job insecurity. Workers may accept jobs with poor condition due to the scarcity of opportunities. So you find that people, they just accept jobs, even if there is dhulm. They are being insulted, they're being insulted, but okay, I know I cannot get another job, so that is the problem. So that is the meaning of labor market glut. So a factory sees plenty of job applicants and decides to hire only when needed without planning long staff. So because people are many, some companies, they don't plan. Because we know we'll get tomorrow. Then union resistance. Workers in a factory oppose HR planning because they fear it will increase their workload or result in layoff. Sometimes some people, they don't want the plan because the HR planning, because they fear they will lose jobs. This plan maybe they will have to work a lot. So this is the meaning of labor. And these are the examples of labor market glut. For example, many people, you'll find that there is a lot of worker during economic recession. During a recession, companies may lay off workers to cut costs. When the economy is not doing good, you can find that a company like Telesom, they can just decide, okay, we don't need 50 workers, masalam. We don't have money to pay you, masalam, leave. So when they leave, it means there is going to be a lot of job seekers. Graduation season. Many students, especially in September, October, November, in many countries, September, October, November, December, many universities, they normally have their graduation at that time. So there are many graduates looking for job. So there is oversupply. Industry decline. Sometimes there is an industry. In many countries, the textile industry normally employs a lot of people. When the textile industry decline, then what happens? A lot of people are going to lose job because there is one in every country. They have one industry that is employing a lot of people. If that industry die, then a lot of people are going to lose job. Then there is mass migration when a large number of workers move to a city or country seeking better opportunities. So, for example, in Somalia, maybe you find that there are a lot of Ethiopians maybe migrating to Somalia. So you find that there are a lot of people now. There is oversupply of labor. So this migration, that is why in some countries they normally have migration policies. Like you'll find that they'll close their borders. They don't want people to come because these people are going to affect the jobs. There are a lot of issues that are involved there. Another resistance is cost benefit misconception. So there are some people they think, wow, this planning, it's going to cost a lot of money. So, for example, a retail store avoids implementing an HR plan because the manager thinks training costs are too high, leading to poor. So some people they think, oh, training costs a lot of money. So in the process, you are going to have workers who are not skilled because you just think, wow, it's a lot of money. We don't have that money. Lack of coordination. Sometimes, for example, in a school, the principal thinks HR planning is just the HR manager's job and does not involve teachers, leading to gaps in hiring. So sometimes you find that the principal maybe is in a school and they think, wow, this HR, it is just the work of the HR department only. No, it should be an inclusive, integrated thing where you involve all the departments. Then the future uncertainty. This is also another barrier. As in, we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. For example, a tech startup plans to hire software developers, but rapid changes in technology makes the skills they hired for quickly outdated. So sometimes you employ workers in your organization, then after 6 months, you find that the people you have employed, their skills is outdated. Why? Because there is a new software, so you have to train them again. So we are living in a time that technology is changing every day. And because technology is changing, it means that the education that you are having is going to be useless. That is why, for example, if you finish your degree, you should not just sleep and say, wow, that is enough. You have to do masters. And even if you finish masters, if you have the opportunity, you have to do PhD. And if you do PhD, you have to go for a lot of seminars, a lot of trainings. Why? Because things are changing. And so if you are just comfortable, then you will not get a job because your skills are going to be outdated. So every day you have to upgrade. If there is any training, you need to enroll so that you get some skills. So that is the end of our work. That is the end of this lesson about the human resource planning. So if you'll have any question, you can just ask. We still have like 4 minutes. So I'm going to send the link. I'm going to send the link for the attendance in the group. So please take the attendance. If you have any question, meanwhile, you can ask, please. Now there are 22 students in class, but yesterday in the attendance, there are around 37 students. So some students they only come for attendance. They don't come for knowledge. They just come to pass their time here. They'll just get a piece of paper, basically. So instead of wasting your time, I'm giving you 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'm going to close the what? After 5 minutes, I'm going to close the link. So please take your attendance now. After 5 minutes, I'm going to close. So somebody should not, you should not send me a message asking me, oh teacher, I don't know what. I'll not respond to you. Take your attendance now, submit. After 5 minutes, I'm going to do what? After 5 minutes, I will be I will disable the link. So you'll have yourself to blame. So I think that's the end of our lesson. If there is no question, we will meet next week. You will be having a quiz. You will be having a quiz next week. The quiz will cover those 3 modules: the introduction to HR, job analysis, and the human resource planning. So please prepare for the quiz, inshallah. Next week, in our next lesson, we'll be having a quiz. I'll send the link to your group. Now, Ahmed, what's your question? Ask your question, please, Ahmed. Ahmed Noor, you've raised your hand and you're not asking a question. Okay. I think that's the end of our lesson. Assalam. We'll meet next week.